I want to share. I want to, let's do our hang out and try to share it and make sure it's on our pages.
All right. It'll take a second for me to go to stream it to Facebook, so hold on.
A minute or two.
So does it? Oh, okay. So the voice activates that little. Okay, cool.
When you talk, it changes the screen. Now you see me, right?
Yeah.
Weird.
Now,
that's good. It's helpful.
You have you've got an option on the computer. On the top right corner, there's a view. It's either says speaker view or gallery view. Gallery view is like the boxes, and you see all four in a grid, no matter who's talking. And the other one, speaker view, it'll switch cameras depending on who's talking.
Oh, I like this. I like this.
So whatever one you prefer. I'm going to be on the grid. That's what's going to be live.
All right.
Can you do that on a phone too, Keith? I don't see that on my phone.
You know what? I don't know. I've never.
Yeah, you can. You can. It's, I think, the top, instead of the top left, I think it's like top right or something. It's a gallery view, right?
Gallery,
Keith?
yeah. Gallery view, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we are preparing live stream preview. And all right, so I think we're live. That's my only thing I don't like about this, is that I never know exactly when, like 3, 2, 1. So I'm going on faith here, everybody. Hi, welcome. It's Keith, and I am very pleased and blessed and honored to host this conversation this evening. Very spontaneous, but I'm glad it all worked out that we could do this. So I'm joined, I think what we're doing, this is the Mercyland Songwriter Workshop. And I'm joined by Steve Hindelong, who is a good friend, and he's the drummer and songwriter, lyricist for a band called The Choir that I've loved for a long, long time. And Steve, why don't you introduce our other hosts here for this gathering?
Well, Keith, we appreciate you helping last minute. It's all tricky trying to figure out how to get this Zoom thing onto Facebook Live, and you helped us out, so appreciate that. And I'm really happy to be here with my friends, Phil Madeira and Cindy Morgan. Phil kind of rounded us up, so I'm going to introduce Phil Madeira.
Hey. Well, Keith, I want to say to you, thanks so much for helping us out here. We kind of hit a bump in the road, but we were live at almost exactly 8, so I'm grateful. So I am a songwriter and artist and session musician in Nashville, and a number of years ago I started a thing called Mercyland Songwriter Workshop with my partner Meryl Farnsworth, who passed away a few years ago. And in her absence, I knew I couldn't do this without some camaraderie. And so I am so lucky to have Steve and Cindy as really two of my closest friends. We've all written together, and actually Cindy and I won a Dove together, but I don't think I wouldn't have won without Cindy's name on that thing. I think that she's just beloved. But I got to introduce Cindy Morgan here, and that beautiful, Penelope Cruz. It's like Cindy Morgan.
Gosh, I wish. Hey, you all. Yeah, I'm so happy to be here with my friends, and thank you, Keith, for helping us out, being so tech savvy. So, yeah, I'm excited. We did this Mercyland thing last year, and it was so great at the lodge up in North Carolina. So I'm excited to do it again.
Yeah. So do we want to start with a tune, Cindy? Do you feel like playing something?
Okay, sure.
Now, before you do, so just so I understand the technology, Do the rest of us need to mute our mics while she's doing that, or?
That might be a good idea, just in case.
Okay, so we just hit that mute button?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thing is that I live right by a train, and if the train decides to, it'll be perfect for Cindy's song.
Oh, that's true.
That's
I like
true.
I like a good train. Yeah.
Well, I'll mute me, which is something that every woman I ever was involved with wanted to hear me say, so, and probably including Cindy, for all I know. So not that we were involved, but there's still time. Right, muting.
I will mute. Oh shoot! What the?
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I'm excited I get this started off here. So I wanted to do a song with my little uke here. It's actually one of the first songs I wrote. I love to write on different instruments, just because I feel like it brings out different kinds of songs and emotions on the different instruments. And so I wrote this song with my good friend and amazing upright bass player, Chris Donahue. And it's about kind of about mental health and being aware of other people and what's going on in other people's lives. It's called Breaking Heart. These four walls seem ridiculous. It's like they know where the weak point is. So I sit and stare. Dirty dishes stacked up in the sink. Speak a word and you're out on the brink of a giant terror. And you wait and you wonder and you push against the dark. Every day going under, wishing someone felt the beat of that breaking heart. Ooh. The devil whispers that he's your friend. He comes calling when the door's unhinged. Will you let him in? Leaves in the pathway grown up through the stones. The neighbors wonder if anyone's home since the lights moved dim. And you wait and you wonder and you push against the dark. Every day going under, wishing someone felt the beat of that breaking heart. Yeah. Wait for rescue, pray for a sign, for someone to read your mind. Oh. And you wait and you wonder and you push against the dark. Oh, every day going under, wishing someone fell. And you crave and you hunger for a glimpse of just a spark. Every day going under, wishing someone felt the beat, that breaking heart. Ooh. The devil whispers that he's your friend. He comes calling when the door's unhinged. Will you let him in?
Very nice.
Wow.
Have you played that song with Cindy before, Steve?
Oh,
You gotta
hold on.
unmute.
There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, I have played that song with Cindy
Yeah.
3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to tap on my
I
sitting on
know.
my phone
Needed
on a
it needs
suitcase.
floor on the floor.
I wanted to play with it, but I know that this technology is not in sync, and it was like a real bummer. I got the perfect thing right here,
Oh man.
suitcase. You know,
Yeah.
We,
And Phil does this really spooky piano on it, which I love. So
actually, I think I played my, where is it? My little
oh, your
melodica.
little oh, you did. Okay, I think you played
Yeah.
piano on it, but yeah, I remember that too.
Yeah,
So
we did it with the Red Dirt Boys, chatting with us.
I was pinching myself.
Hey, oh, I know. I mean, I can't imagine. Hey, Keith. I noticed that the feed is on Steve's page and it's on Cindy's page, but I don't see it happening on my page. But maybe.
Well, yeah, I think you would have to share it though. You'd have to see
How do
it.
you do that?
Well, go to
Go
my
to Keith's
page.
page, yeah.
Go to Keith Giles on Facebook, and you'll see
Oh,
the video.
okay.
And then there's a share at the bottom. Just share it.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah,
See,
it's self-service here.
well, the beautiful thing about that is that start a watch party. Can't I just
No,
share
don't do
this?
it. Don't do a watch party. You don't want to do that. Just
No, I
share it.
just want to share it. Okay, there it is. Great. Okay. This has been shared to your timeline. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Good. Okay, so.
And by the way, anybody watching right now could also share it to their, page as well if they want to, and we can spread this as far as possible. That would be great.
We would love that. One of the, it's funny that Cindy mentioned, you mentioned your co-writer on this one, who is the great Chris Donahue, and he's one of the most gifted musicians I've ever worked with. I don't know if I've worked with a more gifted player than Chris. I mean, it's just, and if you're on a session with him and you're trying to figure out every once in a while math, you know how math comes into play, Steve, where you're trying to figure out how many what's going on. And Chris is the guy, he has that rocket mind. Because Cindy, a lot of your material, you're not worried about dropping a beat or, you are just in a groove. And Chris knows how to sort through that stuff.
not just, I mean, I don't have trouble with the math being a drummer. That's all right. But like, what's going on with the chords and what's going, just in general, Donahue just, and we all know he writes the chart. He just listens along and writes the chart without,
Yep. I always, when I hire him, I always just pay him a little extra. I know he's going to make the chart anyway.
Right.
Whether I give him money or not, but I always feel like I have to because I'm so grateful.
Wow.
But I think, the idea of, I know we all write with other people. We also co-write, which you did on that one, Cindy. And I think it's really interesting what happens with co-writing. And that's the thing that I love about the workshop that we do, is that we pretty much, I mean, so many people have come to this thing, come from their own little world where they've just been writing songs by themselves and never having that other person to bounce an idea back and forth with. So when any of us write together, we are always going to spar a little bit. We're always going to be willing to go down the rabbit hole. Oh, but what if you go over here? What about that? And so I think that's one of the really exciting things to me about this workshop. And it's the only workshop that I've been a part of, and I've been a part of a few of them, as you guys have too. And very few workshops focus on that kind of relational aspect of songwriting where you are put in a position of possible discomfort that might lead to a prize, you know. And
Yeah.
thoughts?
Well, yeah, co-writing is challenging. You know, it's different with everybody, right? It's a risk. And most of the time you go in and spend a couple hours with somebody, get to know somebody you didn't know so well, and then that's it. You know, it never becomes of anything. But when it does, and you have some success, then you gain confidence, and you find certain people. And I've only had people in my life that I've had that kind of rapport with, and it's a wonderful thing when you get to that point where you have mutual respect, and you don't, because you have to, in songwriting, you have to throw out lines. The other person has to say, no, I don't like that, or you know, whatever. You have to be. I don't know. It's you're really trusting somebody because you're as a songwriter, as any artist, we're the risk, taking a risk. You know, that's so yeah.
Yeah.
I always feel like when you walk into a room, especially with someone that you don't know, I mean, so much of a part of the writing process is just the conversation, is getting to know who the people are, you know, understanding their story. And especially these workshops where maybe these are people who don't do this for a living, but it's a passion and they really want to take it seriously. And so you very much want to take their writing seriously because you know what it means to them. And I love when you walk into the room with a complete stranger and somehow you like open up, you know, the vault of your heart to let people in. And then, you know, at the Mercyland workshop, and we do the song that night, and it's like you've known each other for 10 years. It's amazing. Like the journey that you take from the first moment in the writing room to that night when you're doing the song together, you just have this like bond. Do you know what I'm saying, Phil? Do you feel that way?
Well, we do. Our thing is the one in North Carolina. That this thing happens, by the way, July 12th through 16th this summer in a little teeny mountain town called Hot Springs, North Carolina. It's beautiful. Steve's been there for when we played Wild Goose Festival, and Cindy's been there for. Did you do Wild Goose with me there as well, Cindy? Or no?
Yeah, we did Wild Goose once, but it was in North Carolina, but I don't think
somewhere else. It was Durham.
Yeah.
But anyways, and we do it at this place called the Laughing Heart Lodge, which was amazing.
So great.
So we have three full days of writing, and the last night of those 3 days is fantastic because people present, and some of these are folks who don't even have the, you know, who've never maybe even sat and sung a song, but all of a sudden they've got their co-writers from a number of songs that they've written all week, who they've developed these great friendships with. And then they've got, you know, like my imagination for this summer is that Steve Hindalong's there tapping out a great beat to whatever's going on with all these songs. And if I can figure out what's happening, I'll play. And Cindy wants to chime in. And it really is a remarkable, I mean, Cindy can attest to this. It is a remarkable, it's a joy. It's a joy seeing what happens. I love Steve's picture. I don't know if Steve knows that. Do you see your picture changing, Steve? It's fabulous.
Yeah, you got this halo behind you.
Every time somebody texts me, I try to get rid of the text, you know, and then my screen goes off to my profile picture.
Oh, it's great.
I don't know what's going on.
Because you're there with Tim with a cigar, right?
Hi, yeah, Tim Chandler. That was one of my favorite pictures of him. That was a few years ago. Yeah.
I wonder if I think if there's a way, if anyone's monitoring comments, maybe people even have questions out there. But do you feel like singing something, Steve?
Me?
Sure.
Scared of singing. I'm not afraid to sing in front of you, Phil. We didn't, you know, but I'm afraid to sing in front of Cindy.
Well,
Oh no!
but she
What are you
doesn't.
saying,
She's not even
man?
listening. She's texting someone.
No, I'm looking for questions because you said that, Phil.
Oh.
Well, I see a comment by Brian Schertzer, and he says, and it's funny because I was going to say something similar, but it's better to quote him. He says, "Risk is a really good word for co-writing, but when I've done this with my wife, I found great reward in the finished song."
Wow. Yeah. Great.
So that's cool. Yeah,
Well,
I was just going to say that to that thing when Steve, when you were talking about risk, like you were describing how collaboration is a risk. My thought was, yeah, just like love, right? You have to make yourself vulnerable to be loved, and it also at the same time opens you up to get hurt, right? But it's the same motion, and
I
it's the
say
same kind of risk.
artists are the true lovers of the world. I say,
Yeah,
because we're the risk takers. You know?
that's right.
That sounds like a song, Steve. Artists,
We are the risk takers. Yeah,
lovers of the world.
lovers of the world.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to decide what song to sing, but since you pointed out that picture of me and Tim out there smoking, I was smoking a cigar, and I got asthma, so I can't. I really like a good cigar, but I can't hardly ever do it. But one time I was out smoking. Now in the song, I reference a pipe because it rhymed. You know, we take poetic license, but it actually was a cigar, and I was trying to blow smoke rings into the night sky one night, and then I would get the ring, and then I would try to thread it. You know, and I just had this little epiphany about. It was like a spiritual thing, and because to me, like a circle, there's something divine about that. The eternity and the perfection of it, but then it just dissipates. And it reminded me of the, you know, and that little instance where all of a sudden we think we have some kind of spiritual insight, and then just like that, I don't know God at all, you know. And so that's what inspired this song. And it's just sort of, I don't write too many songs that are statements of faith anymore, but this is one of the ones I'm pretty pleased with, if you could call it that. I'll attempt it. It's on the Shadow Weaver album, and with our albums, it's beautiful. Derry's playing all these beautiful guitars and singing it, but this is the way it sounded originally. Into the dark, I blew a ring, then I threaded with the pipe that I was smoking. Peace of heart is a fleeting thing. We are shadow weavers, forever hoping. The prayers of every child rise on the winds of tomorrow. The tears of every woman fall on the feet of the man of sorrows. The soul of every creature cries out, the heart of humanity moans. Somebody out there won't leave us alone. Into our lungs we drew sweet breath, and the first thing we all knew, we were choking. Sometimes we laugh in the face of death, but when we cry for mercy, nobody is choking. The prayers of every child rise on the winds of tomorrow. The tears of every woman fall on the feet of the man of sorrows. The soul of every creature cries out, the heart of humanity moans. Somebody in here won't leave me alone. The heavens are a tabernacle to the sun, a tabernacle to the sun. The love of Jesus is the fire that won't burn out in the hearts of everyone. The prayers of every child rise on the winds of tomorrow. The tears of every woman fall on the feet of the man of sorrows. The soul of every creature cries out, the heart of humanity moans. Somebody out there won't leave us alone. Somebody out there won't leave us alone. Somebody in here won't leave me alone. Into the dark, I blew a ring that I dreaded with the pipe that I was smoking.
Wow.
Yay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Wow.
Thank you.
You know, Steve, you remind me so much of Neil Young on a song like that, like the chords and the timbre of your voice. And it makes me remember, well, oh, that's so weird. I can't put my glasses on because the reflection is too weird. Yesterday, you know, I've been moving house, so I'm just about out of the place I'm in. And yesterday I was packing stuff up. The movers came today, took a ton of stuff. I've still got a ton left, but and I have this little, it's kind of like this little treasure box made of glass and leaded, like stained glass type lead. It's beautiful. And I just keep little teeny treasures in there, like this Matchbox truck that my father gave me when he was on a trip when I was like 5 or 6 years old. And I looked in there and I saw this little gray guitar pick. And so, and what had happened was, Steve obviously knows this, but I think it's just such a great story. I think 5 or 7 years ago, I can't remember, because Willie Nelson, I think, just turned 87. So on his 80th birthday party, I was asked to play guitar with this all-star band that included Neil Young. You know, it's like,
Wow.
you know, how much do I have to pay to do this? And so anyway, so, you know, I wound up playing this gig, but Steve's not a guy that asks. He's not like a fanboy type guy. He's never asked me for an autograph, and probably not Cindy either. I know that much. And, but it's, you know, it's like, it's like Steve's never said something to me like, hey, can you get Emmylou Harris to do this, that, or the other, whom I play with, some folks might not know that. So it's not his style, but he calls me up in the most contrite, like, sinner voice, you know, like, I need redemption voice, you know. He calls me up and he goes, Phil, I never ask anybody for anything, but would you do me a favor? And I'm like, if I can, you know. He goes, if Neil Young, if he just drops a pick, could you get up for me? And I just love to have one of Neil's picks. And I'm thinking, well, that was an easy one to say yes to, because I knew it probably wouldn't happen. And so I said, sure. So sure enough, I mean, Neil is, he's right in front of me. And but he never drops a pick. And he and Willie did Long May You Run, which was beautiful, singing that to Willie on his 80th, We do that, by the way, with MU. But so after the show, my daughters were there, and they met Jack White, and they just had the greatest time. Willie was a saint. He was wonderful. It smelled awesome. It smelled like weed though everywhere. And but then again, I like the smell of a skunk. But I'll get to the point. So I'm packing up my guitars down in the whatever space where all the cases were. And this guy, very California surfer type guy, says to me, hey man, that was fun. And I'm like, yeah, it was great, and these are your daughters. Yeah, this is Kate, this is Maddie, and I go, so who are you here with? He goes, I'm here with Neil. I take care of Neil's guitars. And I said, cool. Now at this point, I'm not thinking of anything. I'm high as a kite from having played with all these incredible people. And so the guy turns to me and the girls, and he goes, would you like one of Neil's picks? So he hands one to Kate, hands one to Maddie, hands one to me. I go, because I know if Neil Young had dropped that one pick, I'm pretty sure I would have kept it. I maybe paid Steve for something with it years later.
There you go.
Anyway, so I said, I don't want to sound like a jerk, man, but can you spare one more pick? And he goes, yeah. And it was so fun. You probably still have it, little gray.
No, it's green. It's right back there in my little secretary. I got it.
Yeah.
Aww.
So wait a minute. You got a green one? It was a green one?
Yeah, green.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. That was Derry's pick.
Oops.
He's gonna go get it.
Right.
I think isn't that amazing? That was a God thing. I mean, come on.
Right.
What were the chances of that?
Right.
I know it.
Oh, that's so cool.
I know. That reminds me, and we all know each other well enough to know that I'm quite a profane. I'm profound, but I'm also profane. And I think Steve would fess up on that one too. But I do think every once in a while, I think of that Bible verse that says, delight in the Lord, he'll give you the desires of your heart. Yeah. And you're like, all of a sudden, you're sitting there with Neil Young's pick. I mean, maybe someone really does care about the details,
Let's see it, Steve. Do you have it? Do you have it in your hand?
No, I don't. I went in where I thought it was, and that was where my passport was. But it's
your kids probably put it on eBay.
No, it's around here. But I feel it would have been way more meaningful if he would have just gave you 3, and I said, I'm going to keep mine.
I know it.
So if he wouldn't have gave you a 4th one, you would have gave me yours, right?
Sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. No. I mean, I dig Neil, but he's your man. Neil is not my man.
Well, it's just, I learned to drive in a 1966 Continental. In 1976, I was 16. And we had a big Lincoln Continental with an 8-track. And the only thing, I had an 8-track player of So Far by Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, which was a greatest hit sort of thing or collection. And his voice, helpless, there is a town in North Ontario, it just cut into my soul, my 16-year-old soul, learning how to drive. And, when sometimes people don't like Neil's voice, and it's hard for me to stay friends with them,
What's wrong with those people?
It's funny. I was the first real band that I was in. I was a drummer, and my favorite song that we did was Down by the River.
Yeah.
Down by the River, and we did Cinnamon Girl.
Yeah. It's a good one.
What are you thinking, Cindy?
Man, I'm thinking I got to brush up on my Neil Young. That's what I'm thinking.
To stay friends with me?
I want to stay friends. I know that I do. I mean, I know that I do like Neil Young. I don't have the deep catalog mentions that you guys do. But anyway, so yeah, I want to be friends. So I love him.
Yeah.
Live at Minneapolis, like 71 or 72. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I should start.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wait, is that what it's called? Well, I don't know. Whatever. No, I would.
I think I want Emmy Lou's pick. Can I have one of Emmy Lou's picks? Phil,
That is easy.
can you do
Yeah.
that? Right.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Geez, I'll take you to her New Year's lunch if you want to go
Ooh.
sometime, man.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
You know, I got to eat one of her brownies at the gathering that you had at your house when she brought the brownies. Do you remember that?
Yeah, so you met her, right?
Yes, I met her both times through you at a Mercyland function, and then at your house at a party.
No,
But
you
anyway,
remember what that was? It was at my mother's wake.
that's right. That's what I thought.
Because you gave me a little stone that, what was it called? An Ebenezer stone.
Ebenezer, yeah.
And that was the greatest time. Anyone who had met my mom, who knew my mom, I invited. And Cindy, I don't think I'd ever met her, but she just heard too many stories, and I felt like she needs to come. But
I felt that I knew her. I mean, I loved all the stories that you told about her that night. It was such a great night.
pretty crazy.
You know what? The first time I met her, I've only played with her maybe 2 or 3 times because of Buddy, you know. But Buddy Miller brought me over to his house and Emily was doing some demos. She was just writing songs, trying to. This is, I don't know how many years ago, but I just was shaking a little percussion stuff with just her and Buddy, and that's about it. And I didn't say a word. I don't think I was so scared. And but she sent me a little postcard in the mail. She got my address from Buddy, and I got this little postcard, and it said, "Steve, thank you for your little jingly, shaky things," and Emmy with a little heart. And then the next, a couple years later, or whatever, I was at some event she was at. She says, "Hey, Steve, I mean, yeah, it's just a wonderful. You come across these sweet people that are, you know."
Emmy Lou it is so much. I have played with her for 12 years now, which blows my mind. And she, it's just so great when people say, well, what kind of person is she? To actually be able to say, man, she is like your cool big sister. You know, she's just great. And because we've all worked with fabulous people, and then we've all worked with people that are like, wow, that's hard work, you know. She really is she was well raised, and she's just the greatest. Go on forever talking about how great she is.
Love hearing that.
What song are you going to sing, Phil?
Yeah.
What do you want to hear?
I wrote with you.
You know what the bummer is that today I've been moving house, and I broke a nail, and do you ever have that thing where one nail's gone and it just starts driving you crazy and you take them all off? That's what happened. Yeah, I can do that, Steve. I was either going to do that or the Ghost of Johnny Cash, but I'll do that.
Oh, the Ghost of Johnny Cash. Could you do 2 and you do that one too? I love that.
He's got the lyrics right there. If you can't read it, he'll just hold that up.
What is it?
It's the chart that you wrote for the Bad Sense of Direction at the gig. You remember I played percussion?
Yeah.
Read the number.
Oh, when we recorded it.
Yeah, when we recorded it, I played percussion, and you wrote a chart by hand. And
you've kept it. Okay.
You
know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sign that for you.
Oh. And give you a pick. And he's going to give you a pick.
That's right. I go walking into trousers. Let me find the. I can never remember. You know, I'm so piano oriented now. I really kind of got converted back to the piano. I go walking in the closets trying to find the front door. I got a bad sense of direction. I keep swimming out to sea, trying to make it back to shore. I got a bad sense of direction. Now it's a sad way to be, such a tragic comedy. But if I don't make it home tonight, don't wait up for me. I got a bad sense of direction. I go walk. What, am I right? I go walking. Oh, I can't hear you now.
Can't hear me?
What's the next verse, Steve?
I go walking in the closet.
Okay, I was right. Okay. I go walking in the closets trying to find the front door. I got a bad sense of direction. No, that was the first verse. I already did that one.
Song said, "Welcome to Kentucky."
Oh, that's right. The side said, "Welcome to Kentucky. Driving south from Tennessee. I got a bad sense of direction. I was staring at the sun when the moon blindsided me. I got a bad sense of direction. It's a sad way to be, such a tragic comedy. Oh, if I don't make it home tonight, don't wait up for me. I got a bad sense of direction." I was climbing Jacob's ladder all the way on up to hell. I met an angel on a bar stool and her name was Jezebel. Sorry. Oh, it's a sad way to be, such a tragic comedy. So if I don't make it home tonight, don't wait up for me. I got a bad sense of direction. Hey, if I don't make it home tonight, don't wait up for me. I got a bad sense of direction. I've got a bad sense of direction. I've got a bad sense of direction. Totally botched the chords. I'm sorry.
Yay! I've never heard that. That was so great. I love that.
Are you kidding me?
No, I've never heard that.
Oh my gosh, I think that's one of. I'm surprised Steve and I have not made some serious bread on that tune.
Oh man, that bridge is so awesome.
The
Bill, let me tell my little story about it because I've seen you perform it times. I don't perform it, so I never get to tell anything about it.
Tell the story because it's so much fun.
Yeah, it's such a fun story. So I was over at Phil's house, and when you lived in Brentwood, you had the big house then. And I was trying to make my quota. I had a publishing deal, and we all know what right? You got to turn in your 12 songs, and I was short one song, and writing with you, I'd get a half song. I wouldn't everybody else like it, man. I got to make my quota, Phil. I just got to write 2 songs. Yeah, it was the end of the year, you know. And one of them was called Factory Work, which is on one of your records, right? And
right.
that was about making songs like Factory Work. And then I was thinking, I got to think of another one. I got to think of another song. And so I go upstairs, your house, we're down in the basement. I go up to take a pee upstairs, right? So I'm up there, but I literally have everyone knows this, that knows me. I have the worst sense of, I mean, no matter how bad I describe it to you, it's worse than you think it is, right? So I literally am trying to get, and also because I'm thinking of lyrics, so I'm really lost, right? And I'm opening closet doors. I'm trying to get back, and I get so frustrated because your house many times I've been to your house, but I cannot find my way back down to the studio. And I get this panic when this happens to me, an absolute panic and frustration, like pain, you know. I go down and I find you after quite a while. You're working on the song, and I says, Phil, we hear the train? Anyway, I go, Phil, I love living next to a train.
Yeah, I hear it. I hear it.
Right? But I go, Phil, I got a bad sense of direction. And you're like, that's the next song. You know?
It was great.
I go in the other room, and you're still working on the one, and I start writing a few lines. And in my mind, I'm hearing, you know, remember that James Taylor song, Damn, that traffic jam. Time I get, be cool. Damn, that traffic jam. Remember that song?
Yeah.
Of JT? So this is what I'm hearing in my mind, you know, I'm swimming out to sea, trying to make it back to shore, got a bad sense of direction, you know. Sign said, welcome to Kentucky, Grammar, Johnson, Tennessee, got a bad. I'm hearing this is like a tune, like a train beat, what they call the Nashville train beat. I'm thinking that's what it is. So I said a few stand, and I had the chorus, but it was different. The chorus was, I remember it's a bad way to be, it's a tragic quality. Whatever, I set the thing on your music stand. I go, check this out, Phil, and I'm excited. I think it's going to be funny and fun. And then you're playing the piano, and you sink into this soulful, slow groove. And then when you hit the chorus, you went to the minor chord. You went to the B minor. And then immediately I changed the lyric from it's a bad way to be to it's a sad way to be.
Yeah.
Because the immediately changed the lyric and the feeling of it. And then you said to me, how about tragic comedy? Well, that's way better, right? It was like way better. So, and then the song got serious, you know, and it became about infidelity, and it became a pretty heavy song because the music, you know, that's what co-writing does. It went somewhere else because music went somewhere. And then I remember Phil and I, next couple of days, driving, talking on the phone, and one line after the other, bouncing lines off each other, and till it got done. But really an exciting song, and that's an example of a real co-write.
Yeah.
It would not exist one without the other in so many ways, and it's a wonderful thing when you co-write a song with someone. Even like Cindy says, you go in and you meet somebody, but you form a bond when you create something art together. There's a bond like no other.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my story.
Oh, I love it. You know, I love telling that. That's on my PM record, and we had such a great time recording that because it was Steve and me and Byron House.
Brian was playing the.
Brian Owings on the drums, who's just super soulful, and Dave Mansfield playing mandolin, and we just cut it live over at Wayne Kirkpatrick's house.
I just saw David Mansfield on that Bob Dylan special, that documentary.
Yep.
Rolling Thunder Review thing. I go, that guy.
Yeah. and then the Kerosene Halos cut it, you know. Still waiting for that paycheck.
Yeah, keep waiting.
Great, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Maybe we should have done the train beat. Maybe that would have made us more money.
Maybe.
The Kerosene Halos. Okay. Should I know who that is?
Well, you know, Cindy, it's me sort of bastardizing a name. It's you know our friend Derry Doherty.
Yes, of course.
No, because he's recorded you.
Yeah.
You know, on some of my work, and anyway.
Yeah, he's
so
great.
Derry, and I don't know if you know Mike Rowe. Mike's from California, but they have a little duo called Kerosene Halo.
Oh man, okay.
Yeah, and it's great. It's great.
Kind of like what Steve has around him right now. He's got he definitely has the halo. Okay.
Yeah.
You like this whole thing is Zoom. We try to. Okay.
Amazing.
I had to turn mine off, man. But maybe that's because my hat,
Yes.
maybe the reflection off my head was too much. But
I got a Jimmy A painting back there behind me. Can you see that?
Yeah.
yeah.
I love how Steve is interactive.
Oh, man.
Okay.
I'm
Hey,
getting
Todd.
You got one?
Ready? Are you ready for this? It's gonna be good.
Okay, look out.
Hang on, I'm coming.
Oh my gosh! West Coast Diaries, right? Charlie
Wow.
Peacock's cover.
It's not the actual cover. It's another one that he did.
Oh, okay.
But I've got so much Jimmy A stuff. It's ridiculous.
That's awesome.
All right, Cindy, she's getting one.
Right. Everybody's
She's
running to
getting the Jimmy A painting.
Here we go.
Uh-uh.
Can you hold it closer?
It's not Jimmy A.
Oh, it's me.
It's you.
Oh, you got a Phil Madeira?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right, the suitcases.
Yes, I
Look
love
at that nice frame.
I know. I had it done.
Oh,
I know. And that was for our song.
That's right.
For Mercyland.
I know it. Mercyland. Yeah, we have a great song that wound. We wrote this song before I did the Mercyland projects, and Keith, I don't know if you're familiar with Mercyland Hymns for the Rest of Us, but
No.
I wanted to make a record, long after I exited Christian music. When Obama was running for president, I was so just brokenhearted with the attitude of people who call themselves Christians towards Obama, and just in general. And of course, that's gotten no better. And so I decided I want to do a record of sacred music, but I don't want it to be like Christian music. And but I still want it to be faith oriented. And I went to Emmy Lou and asked her if she'd be part of something like that. And she said yes.
Wow.
And once she said that, everybody I asked, the Civil Wars, Buddy Miller, John Schofield, and my dear friend Cindy. But Cindy and I already had a perfect song for that called I Keep Meaning to Be Leaning on You.
Good one.
Yeah.
Thing together right now on this.
I wish we could do it together, because I got to say that, yeah, Cindy is definitely my favorite duet partner. We do know how to sing together, I have to say. Or maybe what it is Cindy knows how to sing with me. It's probably more like it.
No, like we've got the hillbilly thing. I love it so much. Actually, but then you've got this new Paris Burning, which I saw you sent me the version with the strings that I'm planning to listen to tonight. And so I'm so excited about that. That song is insane.
Yeah, my new record, it'll come out end of summer. I've got a brand new record out right now called Open Heart, but I wound up cutting another one, and that'll be called Hornet's Nest, and it's harsh. I think I might have played some for Steve. I think I might have played Steve some of that, but
Yeah.
Hornet's
all
Nest, what a title. Whew.
Yeah, it's a great one.
You got any questions, Keith?
Oh, I was just going to share, I had a couple, maybe one thing, but since you're all sharing art, I want to share, Steve, you know Chris Taylor.
I was just going to guess that was a Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Steve and I have been doing this thing with Chris Taylor, and Mike Rowe joined us for one of them. If you guys want to join us, we'd love to have you. We do this little lyric jam thing. Well, no singing, we just share like written lyrics and stuff. But I've been really loving Chris's stuff, and so I ordered his CD because I'm old school. I don't want a digital download. I need a physical CD. So I ordered the CD from him, and he he sent this original painting with the CD.
Wow.
Wow, that's so cool.
He's such a cool guy. Yeah, I really love him. Good guy.
Chris has been talking about coming to Mercyland from the time we started the workshop, which I think is remarkable that an artist wants to come as a student.
Yeah.
That endears me to him, you know.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I think, yeah, because I kind of say, I think he's really, really good. But yet to still have that posture of, I have things to learn and I'm hungry and eager to learn, that's awesome.
We all just keep learning, that was weird because I was thinking that this morning I was thinking about how I get to do this workshop with you guys, and I was thinking, wow, I'm going to learn from Cindy and Phil, and then I thought, well, everybody there that I'm going to get to work with, we all learn from each other, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not just how writing songs, but we learn about life and love and everything from each other. It's just the interaction, creative interaction with other people. We all just learn all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the morning session. I love that. I can still in my mind remember us sitting there in the big circle with the sun coming in from the morning light, and all of us sitting in the circle, doing the different workshops that we do in the morning. I love that part of the day.
Yeah, I mean, and the morning is really where the challenging stuff happens in terms of what we do is, and this is typical of not just songwriter workshops, but a lot of just creative workshops and writing workshops where you work with prompts, like Cindy's prompt, which I've also done this one. It's my favorite prompt is the one you did last year, where you have everybody bring a trinket that means something to them. So somebody has like a jackknife that their grandfather gave them, or someone has a roach clip from the last joint they smoked from 30 years ago or something.
Or like a Neil Young guitar pick or something.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And you have them write about that. And so, the thing that we do is have people just, in fact, the exercise, last year, the exercise I did was I had everyone write down a sentence, I am blank. And then I had come up with just different nouns, and I went around that circle and I handed everybody a word. And do you remember that, Cindy?
I love that.
So it was, what came out of that, like one of the words was cancer, and I think that probably was in my head because Will Kimbrough, our other mentor that week, his wife was going through cancer. So that was in my head, plus Meryl had passed from cancer. So I had just very randomly written down words. I am a knife. I am cancer. I am, and it wasn't all negative stuff, but it was really amazing what transpired after. So after that sentence was written, then where does the person go? And that really spilled into some amazing songs. And that's, part of the key is to be a great writer. And Steve touched on something. It's really weird. Do you guys find yourself looking like if I'm talking to Steve, I'm looking down in the corner where Steve is, but I realize I have to actually look there. Steve.
Where to look.
The thing is that we want to get people to go to places that are, maybe challenging. In fact, one of my favorite people came to the last Mercyland. Well, he had been at the very first one, like 6 years before. and couldn't handle it. He just couldn't handle the idea of going as deep as I feel like you've got to go to really get some good material. And it's not, you know, it's not like we're cracking a whip or something, but it just was really because of his personal trauma was very difficult. And he contacted me before Mercyland in 2019 and said, you know, I still don't know how I feel about this, but I feel like I got to come. And he had a great time. And he was we were all supposed to be in Ireland right now. He was one of the people that would have been in Ireland at a Mercyland in Ireland with Sammy Horner going on right now, except for the virus. Anyway, all this to say, Steve said earlier, you know, just a few minutes ago, you know, I want to learn. I want to learn about love. I want to learn about life. And isn't it really remarkable? I was thinking of the three of us. Our stories are pretty average in terms of, I think most people, life doesn't work out exactly like you think it was going to, without exposing either of you guys that much. I know for me, you know, growing up very religious, and then, you know, 25 years of a marriage to a great person not working out. That was not the blueprint for me. That was not the you know, that was not on my radar for, you know, until it was. And then certainly Meryl's passing and the way Meryl died. I will say that, you know, if you can find good things in those things, which you can find good things. The thing that I have found is a artistic arc that I don't think I would have found without the pain, you know, and which is not to say that failure in like domestic life, you know, if you don't fail, you know, in domestic life, you can't have an arc. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying for me that certainly cutting to the core, and also spiritually, you know, who I am when we do speak of God. And I do need to say that Mercyland is not like a Christian music thing. There are people that love to do that come. There are people, you know, I think one of our folks is a Wiccan person. We really don't get into people's business, you know, and we are not about the business of conversion to whatever my way of thinking, Steve's way of thinking, Cindy. We're not about that. You know, we are trusting that the journey you're on is going to unfold as love hopefully will have it unfold. But what I was just saying about the pain of life, I mean, that's not rocket science, right? Anybody want to?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say that I think that going through difficult things in life, I think it just, it's kind of like a wrecking ball, you know, and it's like what's left at the end of the annihilation. And it just makes you get real with what matters. And it just kind of brings everything into focus that maybe you kind of could gloss over before. It just makes everything that does matter kind of seem even more important. And I think it just exposes you. It just exposes your heart in a way that maybe you had not allowed it to be before. So, you know, I think we can all be grateful for, I guess, the difficult things in life because of that, because it helps us to have compassion for other people's stories and empathy for what other people go through. So I mean, for me, you know, what personally for me in my life, the things that I've gone through that have been very difficult, I think if you let it, it will make you a better creator. It will make you a better artist. And you can also not let it,
Yeah.
which is kind of a waste if you don't let it.
Yeah. Steve with the halo.
Okay.
Neil Young's pick. There's Neil Young's pick.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was in the drawer with the passport.
That's great.
Look a little closer, yeah.
That is so funny.
Cool.
So I want to reiterate that the Mercyland Songwriting Workshop is, if you go to philmadeira.net, and my name, just Phil Madeira, just like it says down in the thing there, .net, philmadeira.net. I think /Mercyland will get you to it, or just go to the page. But
So
it happens.
I was going to say,
It happens.
just so you know, on the page, Jean Cheryl shared a link. It says from the Mercyland Workshop
great.
page. So there's a link actually under the comments on my feed.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, no. So July 12th through 16th.
I remember the spelling of your name because it's I before E, except in exceptional cases like,
Like
whatever
Madeira.
era,
That's so funny.
before
I always tell people I made an IRA payment. Made IRA, or the other one, the songwriter one, is that George and Ira Gershwin, the Gershwin brothers. Oh, what did they have? Oh, sweet and lovely lady, be good. I love all that old stuff. I always say George made Ira write the lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh,
not too many people remember that one.
Made Ira.
Made Ira. Hey, Cindy.
Uh-huh.
Cindy.
Uh-huh.
There's a comment I want to make sure you saw. So her name is Andrea Bentz.
Okay.
And she says, Cindy has been a mentor to me in my music. Her beautiful song, Free, has inspired me in my songwriting and in my caregiving in hospice care. It's incredible. Thank you again, Miss Cindy. God has truly blessed you.
Oh, man, that's so cool. Thank you, Andrea. Yes, she and I have corresponded over social media. So thank you, Andrea. Hospice workers are the most amazing people there are. I mean, if you've experienced anyone in your family who's had hospice, hospice is such an amazing thing. So God bless the hospice workers.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny that it's coincidental. One of our longest standing Mercylanders is a guy named John Mulder, who is a real pioneer in the whole hospice movement. And so I don't know that he'll be with us this summer. I hope he is. But he brings that kind of sensitivity and wisdom to the songwriting workshop. It's fantastic. So it's a really interesting crowd of people, because they come from they don't come from musician walks of life, although some of them have transitioned and done well. But they come from places of empathy that we're not experiencing. And so John Mulder is one of those guys. And
I saw him at Christmas at Andrew Peterson's Behold the Lamb show. We saw each other at the after party. I was so surprised to see him there.
Who else did you see there?
Well, I saw you, but you didn't see me.
And did you see Steve Hindalong?
I don't know. Did I see you, Steve?
Steve was.
I haven't seen you in a long time, Cindy.
Steve was my date that night.
See, I saw Phil. I see you were sitting like to the right of me in the row over, but I saw your hat, but I didn't see Steve. So you guys were dates.
See, Steve was my love interest of the evening. It didn't work out that way, but But we did have it. We had a nice glass of wine, courtesy of Andrew Peterson, and some cake, which of course Steve loves cake. But yeah,
It's so good.
we didn't. You know, I really didn't want to go to that show, but I felt like, you know, I played on that thing a long, long time ago, and that was gracious of them to invite me. And I need to go. I need to do this. And both Steve and I were pretty happy that, because we played the same years on that thing, and we were pretty happy we went. It was a pretty great show.
Yeah. Oh, it was great.
But the
Amazing.
best song of the night, Steve, can you chime in on the best song of the night?
Was that Enneagram one?
Well, I would say that was runner up. Best performance of the night, I should say. Sleigh Ride. Remember Sleigh Ride?
Yeah, I do.
Was that with the bluegrass thing? Where
That was the blue. It was Stuart Duncan.
Great. Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah. So
now people are just out there hanging out with us, hanging out with us.
I know.
Right? You know, everybody's just at home. You know.
Well,
you're not missing because it's on Netflix. You can watch it anytime you want.
That's right.
That's right. That's right. I've been doing. Have you done this yet, Cindy? Because I've been doing a Sunday night. I've been doing a Sunday night performance at 6 p.m. Central Time on my Facebook page, not my personal page, but my music page. And I know the choir's got one. Is yours Thursday?
Yeah. So we're all trying to claim our night. You know, we're all busters in the subway now, right?
Right.
That's what we are.
Right.
One of us. And we're trying to claim our corner. Hey, this is my corner, you know. But we're doing Thursday nights. We're starting, and we are going to do all of our albums. We have 18 albums. So we're going to start with the first one we did in 1985, Voices and Shadows. And I barely played on it because it was mostly like bad 80s drum machine, you know.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, that's where we started. And so we're going
to. Was that youth choir?
Youth choir.
I love that record.
Oh, you do, huh? Yeah, the one I barely played on. That's the one.
Oh, that's my favorite one.
That was the best. That was the best.
It went downhill from there.
We're gonna do our whole it'll be like in 18. It'll be like watching a plant grow in fast motion. How they do, you know. Stupid.
Oh, Cindy, you look so glamorous. Just
No, I've been doing Fridays at 4:30 to 5 Instagram Live, but I did one up until Good Friday, on Good Friday, and then the last 2 Fridays I had to leave town this past Friday, and then last Friday it was raining and I was tired, but I think I'm gonna try and do it again this Friday. So
we're claiming our spots. So we're not in conflict. We're going to do Thursday.
We're not, yeah.
Our friends, the 77s, are Saturday night. Phil's Sunday night. We're all in harmony.
Right.
Friday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday.
Well, Wednesday.
Can still grab Saturday.
Yeah, and on Wednesday we do our lyrics jam. So.
Right.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Well, it really has been fun to be doing a show and to look down and see Steve saying, great backbeat, or Mike Rowe or Derry. I mean, it is fun to see your friends coming up and chiming in, you know.
Yeah.
You know, we're just hanging out and supporting each other. You know?
That's right.
I'm promoting
I like
What'd
Andy
you say,
Golo.
Steve?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just saying I'm promoting Jimmy Abig, you know, too. We're all trying to help each other out, you know. We're all
What's Jimmy doing?
He's just getting his studio built, and he made a patio recently. I haven't talked to him in about a week or two, so I need to call him. What were you going to say, Cindy?
What was I going to say? I think you were talking about the comments. Oh, you know, Andy Gullahorn, since you guys were talking about, because I know what my Enneagram number is. So he's doing an Instagram Live thing at his house And he did like a 90s country night last week. And when he took requests, but he said you could donate anything from $25 to $500. It was good.
Well, take what you can get.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we ought to wrap it up. But Cindy, so is your thing on Instagram or Facebook?
Instagram Live.
Okay.
Yes.
On Friday?
On Fridays, yes. No, I mean, most every Friday. So I try and do most every Friday. Yeah, I do some music and some conversation and read a little poetry and this and that. It's fun.
Well,
I want to put a request in before we end. Will you end with the Ghost of Johnny Cash? Will you play it for me?
I'll play the ghost.
Play us out.
Be right back.
All right. And while
Steve, what, Keith?
no, I was just gonna. Never mind.
Oh wait, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, Phil Madeira, you popped up on my radar back in 1989. I actually had to look it up to remember. It was a CD called 12 New Faces. It was like one of those compilation albums.
Yeah.
Most of it was crap. But that was my first exposure to you, Brooks Williams, Pierce Pettis. I actually went out and bought records from Pierce Pettis and you after that, because I was like, who are these guys? These are awesome. So, it's a really old record. You did a song called "The Only Thing I Can Believe In."
Wow, you're good, man.
Oh no, dude,
Yeah.
I had to look it up.
That's funny.
And then
I want to know about the other 10 faces.
Brooks Williams did a song called "Mystery," and it was my favorite song on the album. Oh my gosh, that song is amazing. There was a guy named Milo Carter who never did anything.
Whoa. I was in the band with him called the Lucky Stiffs with Tim Chandler.
That's right.
The Lucky Stiffs were like a punk rock band,
Yeah.
When we were like 22 years old. Yeah, Milo.
That Milo Carter song is awesome. I loved it. And then Pierce Pettis did a song called 7x70. And then the rest of it was like poppy or like 80s metal stuff. It was.
Yeah. It was. I don't know that anything happened with anyone on that record in terms of. I don't know that Word Records put it out, and I don't think they,
No, but some of those guys. Some of those guys actually did good deals.
At the risk of sounding, I am so grateful that I was a late bloomer, because when I did that project, I was a pretty good artist, but I think I always have felt like I was really spared success in that world, because sooner or later I was going to disappoint that world.
Yeah.
And vice versa. And but I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the work I had there. But I'm pretty glad that I'm not looking back. I have one.
Bill.
That's not that great, and I don't even have it in biography. Oh, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, here's the Ghost of Johnny Cash. I woke up in a cold sweat from a dream at 3 a.m., drifting on the sea of shadows. The rain was whipping in the wind. I saw a man all dressed in black reach out and take the helm, and he charted us a course into the spirit realm. I can taste the salt, feel the blisters on my hand as I'm pulling at the oars. rowing on to glory land, sitting in the stern, singing hymns and talking trash. It's my broken guardian angel, the ghost of Johnny Cash. Johnny's quoting from the Bible. I'm trying to steer this leaky craft. His familiar voice reminds me I'm a man who's cut in half. His tarnished halo slips and shines as raging billows crash. Folks, I'm riding out the deluge with the ghost of Johnny Cash. Some sinners need their saints to be survivors of the fall. But when you're down here on your knees, most angels look too tall. So I'll just live this life out, dust to dust and ash to ash, with my guide from the other side, the ghost of Johnny Cash. You gotta stand for something, 'cause when you're gone, you're gone. The devil lost a lot of souls when Johnny put that black suit on. He's still flipping off the Pharisees and laughing at old Scratch. And he haunts the halls of heaven, the ghost of Johnny Cash. Some sinners need their saints to be survivors of the fall. 'Cause when you're down here on your knees, most angels look too tall. So I'll just live this life out, dust to dust and ash to ash, with my guide from the other side, the ghost of Johnny Cash. Hey, I'll just live this life out, dust to dust and ash to ash, till I'm raising hell in heaven with the ghost of Johnny Cash.
Woo!
Yeah,
That last line, oh man,
that's
shoot,
a funny one.
so
Flipping
good.
off the Pharisees.
That's,
Oh,
yeah.
Is everybody taking care of themselves in the coronavirus? Are you guys all? Steve, you're wearing. Steve and I walked the other day. We wore our masks, right? Cindy, are you?
Then we walked into this whole group of college kids, and they just, they were
We
What?
encountered 20 college students partying, didn't we?
just partying all together, and just, like it was oblivious to it all.
Know it. I know it. Hey, I got to tell you guys about this really healthy drink that it's fantastic. And
Yeah. Cleans you out inside. What I heard.
so anyway. Oh wow.
oh
God.
man,
Steve, that is, man,
Another cup.
Remember that?
Man.
Remember that place?
I do.
Church at USA?
Oh,
Did you guys play at?
Yeah, we played there. Here's the proof. And we got paid $400 for the gig, and it was insufficient funds. Check, insufficient funds. Never got paid for that gig. But anyway,
oh.
Have you
No
guys?
way, the check bounced?
Have you guys watched? Do you ever watch Jim Baker?
Yeah, I can't believe he's still back on the air.
wow.
Like he has like a food product that he sells now.
He basically sells, yeah, it's like instead of prepper stuff to survive the zombie apocalypse, he just repackages it to sell to survive, the tribulation or something. It's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Well, when we played there, he had just been ousted, and Jerry Falwell had taken over the place.
Wow. Well, okay. So I guess if we're going to mention one great man, we'll mention another great man.
There you go.
Oh man.
Out on Johnny Cash.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. We should have ended on Johnny Cash. That would have been a sweet,
Yeah.
just sweet way to end it. Just Johnny Cash. He's in my mind. That's great.
You know, hey, there is a great quote that it means a lot to me, especially in these days. And I kid you not, religion is the opiate of the masses. You know, these are the kind. That's the kind of quote that, as a person of faith, you know, that used to really disturb me. But then at some point I realized that being a person of faith is it's not necessarily about being a person of religion.
Right.
And so anyway, but yeah, I had to do my little Clorox gag because it's just, you know, people need to know that if they come to Mercyland, mischief, there is, you know, it's a loose crowd. It's a very accepting crowd. If you're like a sober person, you are welcome there and you're going to have fun. If you are not a sober person, Cindy, no, I'm kidding. You know, it's really laid back and just
The
a lot.
stories are awesome. Like I'm telling you, the stories are worth coming for.
True. All right. Well, I just want to express my love to everyone. And again, my gratitude, Keith. And I guess we're going to wrap this up. Mercyland.
Yep.
July 12th through 16th, Hot Springs, North Carolina. Go to philmadeira.net to find out more. Thank you,
Right.
guys.
All right. Hey, thank you guys. This is
Thanks
awesome.
for
Love you guys. Thanks,
Yep.
Keith.
Yeah, absolutely. Take care, guys.
Peace, y'all. All
Bye.
right.